Filming from GenCon 2014. I'm here sitting with Matt from Goblin Army Games, and he has agreed to sit down with me and to tell me a little bit about one of the new releases, which is Ruckus, the Goblin Army game. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to do it. So we just opened up this box. You saw me just open up, everything's coming out. It's really easy to set up. There's a few different types of cards. Ultimately though, we're playing for victory points. We're going to be doing a little goblin battle for victory points. Most of those are going to occur through these types of cards. These are the victory location cards. So each round, we're going to play 5 rounds in a normal game. You're going to be fighting for one of these cards. A lot of the cards let you take tokens, and all the tokens will be flipped over.
Let me just show the card to the camera. Cupid.
Okay. They all have little names. Most of the cards ultimately let you take a token, and they'll all be flipped over. You won't see them, but there are a few different types of tokens, so I wanted to show you them first. This number 1 just means it's 1 victory point. 2 is 2 victory points. These special action tokens are still worth a victory point, but they also provide a special power during the game, so you can upgrade one of your characters. So that's what we're fighting for, and there's a first player token. We have 4 player screens, 1 for each of the 4 factions. We have clerics, thieves, fighters, and necromancers. So those are all 4 of the factions. And each one has its own screen. They're all custom, so they have their own art. And on the back of the screens is really one of the most important parts. It shows you a lot of the game summary and the army formations, because in this game you're going to be taking a band of 5 goblins every round and putting them into one of these 3 formations that you see here.
And you do it behind the screen without the other player knowing
without the other player knowing, and then we all reveal simultaneously and activate a power, and then combat resolves simultaneously. The neat thing about this game is it plays 2, 3, and 4 player just the same. So in the combat, say this was out and it was facing this lineup of cards, we'll say this one was fighting this one, they would deal their damage, in this case 3, versus the 5 damage of this, and even if it was 2 other players, if 5 and 3 were the highest 2 damage amounts, the 5 player damage would deal that to everyone, and the 3 would deal that to the 5, and the other 2 players don't get to deal damage. That way they're resolved instantaneously. So all the damage is resolved at the same time. But we'll get into that when we get into the factions. So just because we opened this, they're not in order, so I'm going to take a moment to get the factions set up. One neat thing about this though is as soon as you take it out, you'll notice, and I'll let you get closer to here, each of the characters is labeled as a starter character. That's what the S is. It'll have a level 1
I see.
or a level 2, as in that one. The ones with the stars next to them are the basic game. There's 3 ways to play this game. Right out of the box, if you just grab the ones with the stars, you have the basic starter faction ready to go. So this is the thieves, and I'm just going to grab all of the starters from there. And I'm ready to go with the thieves. These extra ones are used as upgrades. Later in the game, we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we'll play against the fighters, which will do the same thing. So I'm only looking for the stars.
Yeah, we did just open this copy a minute ago, so you can see how easy it is to get the game started. I mean, there isn't much punching to be done. You just open the big envelope with the cards, and you're good to go.
So we shuffle up. These are called kicker cards. They're in red. The victory cards are in green. We'll shuffle those up as well. We're only getting a normal game is 5. I'll just lay out a few here. And the top one is always visible, so you know what you're fighting for. You know what victory condition you're fighting for. In this case, it's an interesting victory card. It's not just a card. When you draw it, it's actually a character. It's the G800, and he has an attack value and a defense value as well. So he acts like a character, this victory card, but it also provides you a victory token, so it's kind of a neat one. All right, so we will flip all the victory tokens over and shuffle them up, and just set them off to the side for now. And we're ready to get started. So each player would then shuffle up their deck if we're playing a 2-player game. You want to play?
You can shuffle mine.
I'll shuffle yours up for you. Yeah,
I'll
get it ready for you. You're the fighters, I'm the thieves. at you as first player. This will rotate between each round of combat. So once you've shuffled it up, you would take your screen, set it in front of you, and you'd lay out you'd take 5 cards off the top and lay out one of those formations.
I don't choose the cards, I just
you draw
get
5
the 5
off the top.
Okay.
Yep. And then you set the other deck aside as like a draw pile. So you're going to have a draw pile and a discard pile, just like other deck building games, because there's an element of deck building in this game.
Alright, I have my mighty formation.
Alright. Okay, so then we reveal at the same time, and I haven't taught you strategy yet, so we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, I just thought, I just put together the one that's the easiest.
Which is a great way to start the round. Is that like, can you still see everything there? I just want you to be able to see everything on the cards, so I can push back if you need. Is that good?
Yeah, I just need to angle this one a little bit because of the glare that's coming on it.
Gotcha. The first thing you look for is a card that says reaction on it.
Reaction, I got one. I have several.
And then some of them say when you play this card, immediately recruit another card. So you have one that does that. So you're going to draw another card and put it in that same row. Yep. Okay. And what does that guy say?
Reaction. When you play this card, you may recruit one card.
So you just chained a reaction. Yep. So go ahead.
At the end of a combat, oh, this is not a reaction.
Not a reaction. So that was great. You just added 2 guys to that row. That's excellent. And I have a reaction as well. So I'll flip it and play it, and he comes out. All right, so there's our armies. They're pitted against each other. The front rows of combat are going to do battle. But before that, any card you have that has one of these little squares, you have the option as first player going first to take a token, place it on there, and activate that power. So you can take a look at some of these powers. I'll recommend one for you just to get us going.
All right.
Let's try this one right here.
Draw, I play 1 kicker card.
So you're going to draw one of the red cards and you get to play it immediately.
Bam, double whammy. Attach, discard 20 units. That unit gains 2 little
attack. Those are melee attack
melee symbols.
So you probably
attach it to that guy.
The front row's the only row that's going to do it. So you probably want to put it on the front row guy. Yep.
This one looks mean, so I think I'll attach.
There you go. So we'll just kind of put that here so we know he's got that. Okay. So I can activate one of mine, and I'm going to activate kicker card as well. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this one. To move this unit 1 row, ignore the normal limitation, so I get to move him back here, and I'm going to hide him a little bit. All right. So now what we do is you would count up the number of melee damage that you're doing. So in this case, you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Each player declares it. But I also have this symbol here, which is an arrow symbol. I'd like to show it to you. And from any row, that means that gets to get added to the melee damage that's going on. It's a ranged attack. So I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with your bonus, 6, 7, 8. You're going to deal 8 damage to me. I'm going to deal 5 damage to you. Now we'll resolve that damage. So when you take damage, when you start taking it on a character, you have to stay on that character till the character is either eliminated or can absorb it. If you're taking the 5 from me, you could take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or with these shields, they ignore the first damage that's applied to them. So if this was the last damage point, it's great to use it on here because you're only going to really absorb 4 damage and then kind of take off the 5th damage.
Deflected by that,
yes. So you can choose to do that any way you want to, and then you just kind of rotate your cards. Can't say the other word that we would normally say here by a licensing agreement.
Okay.
You know, the magic...
we're rotating.
Yeah, rotate the card. So rotate the card to show that you've taken damage. You're doing 8 to me, so I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them have been eliminated. You don't take any overflow damage, so you've just wiped out my front row, and now you take 5 on your front row.
Okay. So I'll do 1, 2, 3... Oh, 4, 5, I guess.
Yeah, you might not want to do it that way. That's not the optimal way. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And tink it off of there, yep. So the ones that have been eliminated, unless they have a reaction that comes into play, you just remove them from play.
And I don't see reactions that allow me to Yeah, okay, they're gone.
Now, because you wiped out my whole front row and you still have guys in your front row, I'm placing this here just to mark that I currently don't have a front row, because you have to have a front row. So you still have 2 in yours, and you're allowed to now fall forward if you want to. If you wanted to put one of these 2 guys into this row, that's a legal fall forward. You can't move back, you can only, they discharge, they don't run away. So if you wanted to move one up, you could, or you could pass, and then it would be my turn to do the same. So let's say you're good, that's probably good. I remove that to show that, and I will move this guy up, and this guy up. So I've moved 2 into my front row. And when we begin the next round of combat. You're still the first player, so you can choose to activate one of your powers if you want to. You still have 2 left.
Yeah. Suppose I activate this one.
So
I draw a kicker card,
kicker.
which is new and shiny. You may exchange 1 victory point token you have earned from a new victory point token.
You haven't earned one yet, so these are high risk, high reward things, but this one didn't hit for you right
And you
yet.
can't save them. They
You can't save it. They're burned right
either
away.
use this in that moment when you draw them, or
That's
they're
it.
gone.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. So, and I'm going to play one. This one's. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take a chance. And we haven't talked about this, but it's a good time. I drew one that says, look at the top cards of the 3 cards of the upgrade deck and put them back in any order. So if you lose a round, if you're not the winner of the round, if you don't win the victory point card, you get to discard one of the cards you have in your discard pile and go to the upgrade deck. Some of these cards are, these are all the rest of the cards for the factions that we're playing. So the rest of the fighters and the thieves. They're kind of mercenaries now. So you get to, it's kind of a catch-up mechanic. It lets you get some powerful cards right into your deck. And that's off to the side here. So because I drew that, I get to look at 3 and put them back in any order. And I'm happy with this. So I'll put them back. And now we're ready to go to our combat round again. So we declare damage. I declare 2. And you're going to declare 2 as well. So we each deal 2 to each other. I'm going to take them like this.
And with 2, I can do 1, and again, absolutely with that guy.
That shield
Man,
is really
that guy's
powerful.
good.
Yeah, you're actually doing more than 2. You're doing 4.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
because of
forgot
that
about your
guy who is
superpower there.
completely powerful.
And that we remove those guys from play. And again, I mark that I don't have a front row. We'll remove yours from play as well. And you can fall forward if you want to, which means you could add another guy up here, or you could just leave him as he is.
No, let this guy here.
Okay. And just to show I didn't have a front row, and now I slide forward. Now in this round, you pretty much have me. At this point, I could concede the round because you're going to do plenty of damage, and I would lose. So let's say that happened. I've lost the round. You win. All cards are discarded. The kicker card goes away. Again, that was a pretty key card for you that round. That was a really neat card, yeah. All these go into your discard pile, and you get this card, which is the victory card. So you immediately get to do something when you gain it.
I get to play it as a unit. Oh, also I gain a victory point token.
Yeah, but first, so when you gain it.
Yeah, when you win this card, gain a victory point token.
So grab 1 randomly, and you can see it, but I don't get to see it.
They also get to see it at home.
That's fine.
Don't say anything, people at home.
If it's a 1, it's worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. A 2 is worth 2. If it's one of the symbols, instead of activating one of these square powers, you can choose to place it on a unit, and when you place it on a unit, they gain that ability, and you still keep it after the unit's defeated. Okay, so because
let me see if I understand the general idea. So each round you set up the formation secretly, then you reveal the formations, the front rows, well, first you play abilities, then the front rows fight, plus some abilities may apply, and the rows keep fighting until one of them is completely annihilated. The reward is given to one of the 2 players, and then you repeat the procedure with a new formation from your deck.
From your draw. And when you can't draw, you just reshuffle and go from there.
And what's the victory condition again? You need to get
the most victory points at the end of the game wins. So we add up victory points. So there's a few other ways to earn them, but that's most of the ways to earn the victory points. And that's the game. It's $25. It's in distribution, so this should be at your friendly local game store as well as online. And it is at our distributor as of yesterday, and at Gen Con as of yesterday. First time it's for sale on the market. That's great. Thank you for meeting with me and to telling me and the viewers about Ruckus, the Goblin Army game. Thank you again. Thank you. It's a pleasure.